The internet is on fire tonight after K. Michelle dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. In a jaw-dropping livestream, she exposed what she calls a private deal between Kirk Frost and Yandy Smith, one that allegedly blindsided Rashida and left her in tears. Fans say they've never seen K. Michelle this confident, this bold, and this ready to burn bridges. It all started when K. Michelle went live, sipping from her glass of wine, and told her audience, "Y'all keep playing with me like I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Kirk and Yandy. Oh baby, that's a whole story Rashida didn't see coming." Within minutes, the comments exploded. People begged her to spill the full story, others accused her of clout chasing, but she didn't stop. Her tone was calm, deliberate, and dangerous. She smiled and said, "You ever wonder why Rashida been looking so distant lately? Why her energy been off? It's because she just found out about a deal that never should have happened." According to K. Michelle, Kirk and Yandy had been working together behind Rashida's back, something involving money, image, and quiet manipulation. "This wasn't no innocent business call," K. Michelle said. "This was personal, and it cut deep." Instantly, fans started connecting dots, pulling up old clips, and piecing together clues that had been in plain sight. A video from last month's red carpet event suddenly looked suspicious. Yandy whispering something to Kirk. Rashida standing awkwardly beside them, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Screenshots began circulating, tweets turned wild, and hashtags like hashtag Kirk Yandy deal and hashtag poor Rasheeda started trending within hours. But what really shook people was K. Michelle's tone when she added, "And trust me, I got receipts." That one sentence sent social media spiraling. She didn't show them, at least, not yet, but she hinted that what she knows could destroy more than just reputations. "This ain't about hate," she continued. "It's about truth. And when I'm done, folks gon' see who's been lying to who." Insiders close to Rashida claim she was blindsided, breaking down when she heard the news from someone other than her husband. One source said she locked herself in the dressing room for an hour before facing the cameras. The drama has now grown beyond personal betrayal. It's turning into a full-blown reality TV explosion, with alliances being questioned and friendships on the line. Yandy's camp has stayed silent. Kirk has posted cryptic messages about loyalty being tested, and Rashida, she's vanished from social media altogether. Fans are wondering what really happened in that private deal K. Michelle hinted at. Was it business, betrayal, or something far more personal? Because if her words are true, this story might destroy everything Rashida built, and the worst part. The proof, according to K. Michelle, is coming next. K. Michelle's live had barely ended when the internet erupted into chaos. The comments, the blogs, the fan pages, everyone was scrambling to piece together the puzzle she had just thrown into the spotlight. Behind the calm tone of her voice was something sharper, something that told people this wasn't just another celebrity feud. She knew something, and she wasn't afraid to use it. Within hours, clips from her live started circulating everywhere, and each re-upload seemed to add fuel to the fire. Fans zoomed in on every expression, every pause, every little smirk. You could tell she was holding back, one user wrote. The way she said deal, like she already knew the whole play. But the question that echoed louder than any other was simple. What kind of deal could break Rashida like that? The answer, as it turned out, began months ago, long before anyone realized there was trouble brewing. Kirk Frost had been struggling quietly to rebuild his image. After years of scandals and whispers, he wanted to create a new business partnership that would reposition him as a serious entrepreneur again. But the twist was, he wasn't doing it alone. Sources close to the couple claim Kirk reached out to Yandy Smith, someone he believed could open doors in the industry that were otherwise closed to him. Yandy, ever the strategist, agreed. She saw an opportunity too, but what neither of them expected was how this alliance would spiral into chaos. They kept it quiet, even from Rashida, which was the first mistake. Rumors say it started as a business pitch involving a new talent management brand. Kirk wanted to create a line that represented Atlanta's rising artists, while Yandy promised to connect him with New York influencers and sponsors. It was supposed to be harmless, but as the two began meeting privately, whispers started. People spotted them together at events, at a late-night dinner, even at a recording studio where no cameras were allowed. Fans dismissed it as networking at first until K. Michelle hinted that what they were building wasn't just business. She claimed there were personal texts, private exchanges, and, as she put it, emotional investments that went too far. Rashida found out the hard way. Insiders say she walked into the middle of one of their private meetings without warning. It happened at a downtown lounge that Kirk had rented out for a supposed business dinner. When Rashida arrived, she wasn't supposed to be there, at least, not according to Kirk. She thought it was a surprise appearance to support her husband, but when she walked in, she saw Yandy sitting across from him, both looking startled. Papers spread out on the table, and a look between them that spoke more than any words could. Eyewitnesses say the air shifted instantly. "You could feel it," said one source. Rashida didn't yell at first. She just froze. Later that night, an argument erupted at their home that reportedly went on for hours. Neighbors heard shouting. Kirk was trying to explain it was just business, that he had planned to tell her when things were finalized, but Rashida wasn't having it. She accused him of going behind her back again, of making her look foolish after everything she had stood by him for. "Do you even know what that looks like?" she allegedly shouted. "Me finding out from someone else." From her, Kirk tried to calm her down, but his words only made it worse. The trust she had spent years rebuilding after his past mistakes began to crumble all over again. Meanwhile, Michelle was watching it all unfold from the sidelines, waiting for the right moment to speak. And when she did, she didn't hold back. She claimed the private deal wasn't just about business but about favors that blurred lines between professionalism and manipulation. There was money moving, she said during her live clip. There were promises being made, but what really got messy was the part nobody was supposed to know about. And now, everybody knows. Fans began dissecting her every word, wondering if she meant emotional manipulation, secret payoffs, or something even darker. The speculation grew wild. The next day, bloggers began reporting that Yandy and Kirk had exchanged several private messages, discussing strategies that seemed to intentionally exclude Rashida from decision-making. "She too emotional," Kirk allegedly texted. "Let me handle it first." Another message showed Yandy replying, "You know I got you, but this gonna blow up if she finds out." When those messages leaked, everything exploded. Rashida reportedly broke down again, this time during filming for her reality show. Cameras caught her leaving the set mid-scene, tears in her eyes, mumbling that she was tired of being embarrassed. Production tried to calm her down, but she refused to continue. Fans felt torn. Some sided with Rashida, calling her the heart of the show and saying she didn't deserve this humiliation. Others blamed Michelle for stirring the pot, saying she should have minded her own business. But deep down, everyone knew this wasn't just another rumor. This had the kind of depth and tension that comes from real betrayal. Kirk's attempts to explain only made him look guiltier. He went live, saying, "People always trying to twist things up. This was about business, not betrayal." But viewers noticed how defensive he sounded. They replayed his body language, the hesitation in his tone, the way his eyes darted when he mentioned Yandy's name. Yandy, on the other hand, tried to stay poised. She posted a photo of herself looking unbothered, captioned "Unbothered energy only." Fans flooded her comments with accusations. "You knew what you were doing," one wrote. "You broke the code." Yet, she didn't respond. Insiders claimed she had already spoken to Kirk privately, telling him, "You better fix this before I have to." But fixing it wasn't going to be easy. The damage was done, and everyone was watching. The alliances, that once seemed solid in the love and hip-hop circle, were cracking fast. Behind the scenes, producers reportedly scrambled to capture as much as they could without violating confidentiality. "We knew this was reality gold," said a crew member. The tension was real, and nobody had to fake anything. You could see Rashida's heartbreak, Kirk's panic, and the silent fire in Michelle's eyes. Even off camera, things stayed volatile. Kirk stopped answering calls, Yandy avoided public appearances, and Rashida spent days away from the spotlight, surrounded only by a few close friends. The story took another twist when someone from Yandy's team leaked an email exchange showing that Rashida's name was deliberately removed from a partnership document. It was meant to be a joint venture, but Kirk and Yandy had decided to handle the initial phase privately. That one document proved Michelle's claim wasn't just gossip, it was rooted in something tangible. "You kept me out on purpose," Rashida allegedly said during a confrontation that later took place off camera but was recounted by multiple witnesses. "After everything I've built, you decided I wasn't good enough to stand beside you." Kirk's silence was answer enough, and that's when the story turned from scandal to full-blown fallout. Rashida stopped wearing her wedding ring, unfollowed both Kirk and Yandy, and started posting cryptic messages about loyalty being a myth. Her fans rallied around her, flooding her page with messages of support. "You deserve better. We see your pain. Stand tall, Queen." But behind those messages was a storm brewing that even Michelle hadn't expected. Because the moment she exposed Kirk and Yandy's deal, she unleashed something none of them could control. And what happened next would pull everyone even deeper into the chaos. The days following Michelle's revelation were nothing short of explosive. Social media platforms were flooded with speculation, fan theories, and heated debates about what exactly had transpired between Kirk Yandy and Rashida. The gossip blogs had a field day, posting screenshots, edited videos, and even old interviews to suggest patterns that pointed to deceit and betrayal. "It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck," one commentator wrote. Every post, every tweet, every comment felt like another layer of tension being peeled back, revealing just how fragile the alliances really were. Insiders revealed that even among cast members, emotions ran high. People who had once considered themselves allies suddenly found themselves taking sides, and whispers of secret meetings and private conversations filled the set. Rashida, meanwhile, was trying to find her footing amidst the chaos. Sources claim she spent hours on the phone with close friends and family, crying, pacing, and replaying every conversation she had with Kirk in the past few months. The heartbreak was palpable. She felt betrayed not only by the deal but by the secrecy, the deliberate exclusion, and the way her husband had allowed Yandy to become a confidant in matters that should have been theirs alone. "I trusted you," she reportedly said to Kirk during a heated discussion that lasted late into the night. "I built my life around what we said was family, and you tore that down in silence." Kirk's defense seemed weak, his apologies rehearsed, and his excuses thin. He insisted the partnership was strictly business, that Rashida had misinterpreted the situation. But every word he said seemed only to deepen her pain. Yandy, on her end, maintained a composed exterior in public. But sources close to her reveal a different story behind closed doors. She was reportedly frustrated, worried about how the situation could impact her reputation, and deeply concerned about the backlash from fans who saw her as manipulative or untrustworthy. She met with Kirk several times, discussing damage control, potential clarifications, and ways to frame the narrative to make it look like there was no wrongdoing. Yet, every time they strategized, Rashida's absence and visible distress created a tension that neither of them could easily erase. Insiders say Yandy admitted privately that the fallout had exceeded their expectations and that Michelle's timing had been perfect to maximize the exposure of the controversy. Fans dissected every small interaction from the past month, pointing out moments that could be interpreted as foreshadowing. A clip from a recent interview showed Kirk appearing distracted when Rashida mentioned a new project, and social media erupted, speculating that he was thinking about the deal instead. Another video captured Yandy giving Kirk a look that some fans described as conspiratorial, which became a trending meme overnight. The online reaction intensified, as hashtags like #KirkYandy exposed, #RASHEEDA, heartbreak, and #KMIC, hell receipts dominated trending lists. Fans even started creating detailed timelines, connecting dates, locations, and social interactions to build a narrative that pointed to deliberate secrecy and calculated betrayal. The drama reached new heights when Michelle released a second live clip, this time showing screenshots of texts allegedly exchanged between Kirk and Yandy. In one, Kirk reportedly wrote, "Let me handle the first round. She doesn't need to know yet." In another, Yandy allegedly replied, "I got you, but this could explode if she finds out." These messages, if authentic, painted a picture of a plan executed without Rashida's knowledge. Fans reacted with outrage, disbelief, and shock. Many expressed sympathy for Rashida, praising her for keeping composure in the public eye despite the private turmoil. Others speculated about the possible motivations behind Kirk and Yandy's actions, ranging from personal gain to emotional manipulation. The energy on the set of Love and Hip Hop became unbearable. Producers found themselves navigating tense interactions, overhearing arguments, and trying to manage a cast divided by suspicion. Some scenes were reshot multiple times because emotions ran too high, and off-camera confrontations were reportedly more intense than anything filmed. One crew member noted that Rashida would often sit silently, scrolling through her phone, her eyes brimming with tears, while Kirk tried to approach her to talk, only to be met with icy silence. Tension filled every hallway, every dressing room, every set piece. In addition to the on-set drama, rumors circulated about potential legal implications. Some fans speculated that if the deal involved financial maneuvering without Rashida's consent, there could be lawsuits or contractual disputes ahead. Although no official statements were released, insiders hinted that meetings with lawyers had taken place, and that both Kirk and Yandy were being advised on how to proceed carefully. The mix of personal betrayal and possible professional consequences created a perfect storm that had everyone glued to their screens, waiting for the next explosive revelation. Amidst all this, Rashida began to take small steps toward reclaiming her voice. She posted cryptic messages hinting at her awareness of the situation and her refusal to be sidelined. One post read, "I may have been kept out of the loop, but that doesn't mean I'm out of the game." Fans interpreted this as a sign that she was preparing to confront the situation publicly, and speculation ran wild about whether she would respond on social media, during a show appearance, or in an exclusive interview. The anticipation kept engagement levels skyrocketing, with viewers eager to witness every reaction, every confrontation, every tear. K. Michelle, observing the unfolding chaos, seemed to relish the impact of her revelations. She teased more information, hinting that she had additional screenshots, recordings, and insider details that could further unravel the delicate balance among the trio. "I'm not done yet," she reportedly said during a casual conversation captured by paparazzi. "There's more to this story, and it's only going to get messier." Fans took that as confirmation that the drama was far from over, and the internet braced for what could be the next viral moment in reality television history. The situation escalated further when a private video surfaced online showing Rashida confronting Kirk about the deal. In the clip, her voice trembled with emotion as she demanded honesty, while Kirk struggled to maintain composure, offering half apologies and explanations that seemed insufficient. Yandy was present in the video as well, her expression unreadable, though some viewers interpreted it as smug or calculating. The video went viral immediately, with millions viewing, sharing, and commenting. The family was left divided, fans were shocked, and the tension among the trio became almost unbearable. The fallout didn't stop there. Within days, rumors emerged that other cast members were being questioned by producers about their knowledge of the deal. Alliances shifted, friendships fractured, and some relationships that once seemed unbreakable appeared fragile and uncertain. Every social media post, every interview, and every public appearance became a potential source of scrutiny, as viewers tried to anticipate who would side with whom, who would apologize, and who might finally reveal the next shocking secret. The emotional stakes were enormous. For Rashida, it wasn't just about public embarrassment, it was about trust, love, and the foundations of her marriage. For Kirk, the stakes involved reputation, business opportunities, and the perception of control. For Yandy, it was about influence, positioning, and the power of being perceived as untouchable. And for K. Michelle, it was about holding the key to a secret that could forever change the dynamics of everyone involved. The story was no longer just entertainment, it was a high-stakes emotionally charged drama that kept fans hooked, captivated, and waiting for the next reveal. The following week, the tension reached a boiling point. Rashida returned to filming for Love and Hip Hop, but the atmosphere was thick with unease. Crew members reported that every scene involving Kirk or Yandy was fraught with pauses, awkward glances, and barely concealed hostility. In one moment, Rashida was seen confronting Kirk in a hallway, her voice low but dripping with fury. "You think this ends with a post or a tweet?" she allegedly said. "I see everything, Kirk. Every secret, every plan, every lie." Kirk reportedly tried to reason with her, his words rushed and defensive. "It's not what you think, Rashida. It's business. That's all. You know me." But her response was cold, a steely glare that left no room for excuses. Yandy, who was scheduled to shoot scenes on the same day, reportedly stayed in her trailer longer than usual, avoiding eye contact with anyone on set. Insiders claim she was quietly strategizing, reviewing previous footage, and making mental notes on how to maintain her image while the storm unfolded. The production team admitted it was the most challenging week of filming in recent memory. With emotions running high and tempers flaring, some scenes had to be reshot multiple times because the tension was too palpable to fake. Every camera angle captured subtle micro-expressions, nervous gestures, and fleeting moments of betrayal that added layers to the narrative fans were consuming voraciously. As the public continued to dissect every interaction, more alleged evidence surfaced online. Supposedly, a leaked text conversation showed Kirk asking Yandy to handle Rashida carefully, while simultaneously assuring her that everything will look like business. But she doesn't need to know the truth yet. The authenticity of these messages could not be verified, yet fans didn't care, they were enthralled. The frenzy intensified when clips from past interviews were edited together to suggest patterns of secrecy and exclusion, painting a picture of a long-running scheme that now threatened to implode entirely. Rashida, reportedly feeling cornered and vulnerable, sought advice from close friends off camera. She was said to be considering how to reclaim her narrative without appearing vindictive or reactive. Some sources indicated she wanted to confront Kirk and Yandy publicly, while others claimed she was weighing legal action to protect herself from any potential financial or reputational damage. Her fans watched every social media post, every cryptic message, and every subtle gesture, eager to see her next move. The suspense was unbearable, keeping discussions alive across multiple platforms, from Instagram and Twitter to fan forums and gossip blogs. Meanwhile, Michelle was fueling the fire even further. She dropped another hint during a casual backstage conversation that some people have no idea the consequences of what they've done. Fans interpreted this as a warning that more secrets, more messages, and potentially more explosive videos could be released at any moment. The tension was compounded by the fact that Kirk and Yandy maintained near silence, choosing to communicate only through intermediaries or carefully worded statements. The lack of transparency only deepened suspicion, with viewers convinced that the full extent of the betrayal had yet to be revealed. The emotional toll on Rashida was evident. Insiders described her as on edge, alternating between moments of calm determination and visible distress. She was often seen alone, reflecting, journaling, or pacing her living space late at night. Her friends expressed concern for her well-being, noting that the betrayal cut deep, especially because it involved someone she trusted implicitly. Her expressions on camera, once warm and confident, now carried a subtle heaviness, a shadow of doubt and hurt that audiences immediately recognized. Social media reactions grew more intense with each passing day. Memes depicting Kirk and Yandy in exaggerated conspiracy scenarios went viral, while fan theories dissected every possible motive and outcome. Hashtags trended consistently, and discussion boards exploded with speculation about what would happen next. Some fans predicted reconciliation, others imagined a public fallout that could dominate headlines for months. The collective fascination created a near-constant spotlight on every action, every word, and every interaction between the trio. Production insiders also noted shifts in dynamics among supporting cast members. Friends and colleagues who had previously remained neutral were now being subtly pressured to choose sides. Some aligned with Rashida, providing support both on and off camera. Others tried to mediate, emphasizing professionalism and the importance of not letting personal drama interfere with filming. The situation became a study in tension management, emotional intelligence, and the raw unpredictability of human relationships under pressure. Amid the escalating drama, reports surfaced that Kirk and Yandy had engaged in secret meetings to plan damage control. These meetings reportedly included discussions of social media strategies, public statements, and even potential interviews to clarify their positions. Sources claimed that the meetings were tense, with both parties aware that any misstep could exacerbate the situation. While fans speculated about the content of these meetings, nothing concrete emerged, which only fueled further debate and anticipation. As the week drew to a close, the emotional strain appeared to peak. Rashida was observed withdrawing slightly from public appearances, often avoiding group events and interviews. Her social media activity was sporadic, marked by cryptic posts and subtle messages hinting at awareness and resilience. Meanwhile, Kirk's attempts to engage directly with fans were met with skepticism and backlash, while Yandy maintained a poised exterior that left viewers interpreting her every gesture and word. The narrative had evolved into a high-stakes drama where each participant's credibility, loyalty, and emotional stability were under intense scrutiny. The culmination of this phase occurred when an anonymous source allegedly released a series of emails showing strategic planning between Kirk and Yandy, outlining steps to exclude Rashida from significant decisions while keeping appearances intact. Fans flooded social media with screenshots, commentary, and theories. The family was left divided. Production crews were stressed to the breaking point, and the audience remained glued, eager for the next explosive twist. The emotional stakes had never been higher, and the story's complexity continued to captivate, shock, and mesmerize everyone following it, setting the stage for what many predicted would be an even more dramatic confrontation in the coming days. The mounting tension soon spilled beyond the confines of the show and into the wider public eye. Paparazzi captured Rashida leaving a private meeting with a close friend, her expression stoic yet betrayed, while Kirk was spotted at a high-profile industry event, attempting to maintain composure but clearly weighed down by the controversy. Fans scrutinized every detail: the way he avoided eye contact with photographers, the slight hesitation in his gestures, the tightness of his jaw. Every movement became evidence in a narrative that social media users were eager to piece together, creating a web of speculation, assumption, and drama that only added to the intensity of the unfolding story. Yandy's presence in the drama grew even more enigmatic. She was rarely seen publicly, and when she did appear, her demeanor was calm and collected, almost untouchable. Insiders reported that she spent hours coordinating with legal advisors, publicists, and mutual acquaintances to navigate the complex situation without incriminating herself further. While some interpreted her silence as arrogance, others believed it was a strategic move, a way to let the tension build while preserving her image. In the meantime, Michelle continued to tease her audience, dropping cryptic comments hinting at more revelations, ensuring that fans remained invested and hungry for the next explosive moment. The interpersonal dynamics among the trio grew increasingly fraught. Rashida reportedly confronted Kirk again, this time with a deeper intensity and a resolve that suggested she was no longer willing to be sidelined. "I deserve transparency," she allegedly said. "I deserve respect. If you valued our life together, you wouldn't be hiding anything." Kirk's responses were described as defensive, punctuated with vague assurances, but unable to fully address the depth of the perceived betrayal. The tension escalated, creating a volatile mix of emotion, fear, and anticipation that made everyone watching feel as though they were witnessing history in the making. The drama extended beyond the main cast, affecting friends, family, and colleagues who became entangled in the fallout. Allies of Rashida tried to mediate and provide support, while others distanced themselves to avoid being caught in the crossfire. The set of Love and Hip Hop became a powder keg, with crew members noting that even small interactions could ignite emotional explosions. One source reported that a simple scene involving all three actors had to be delayed, because the unresolved tension threatened to derail the filming entirely. The environment became one where emotions were raw, and every word, glance, and gesture carried immense weight. As fans followed the story obsessively, more alleged evidence surfaced online. Purported screenshots of private conversations, edited video clips, and selectively leaked information painted a picture of calculated exclusion, secret communications, and personal manipulation. The narrative created by these leaks suggested that Kirk and Yandy's interactions went beyond business, involving strategic planning that deliberately excluded Rashida while keeping appearances intact. Social media exploded with commentary, memes, and theories, with each new piece of information intensifying the emotional stakes and engagement levels. Michelle, maintaining her role as the instigator and narrator of the unfolding chaos, dropped hints that additional proof existed, ready to be revealed at a moment's notice. "This isn't over," she reportedly said during a backstage encounter. "People think they've seen everything, but the next chapter is going to shock even the most loyal fans." Her statements kept followers glued to their screens, fostering anticipation and speculation that turned everyday social media feeds into real-time investigative forums dissecting every aspect of the controversy. Rashida's own strategy evolved during this period. Sources indicate that she began to reclaim her narrative, posting subtle, calculated messages on social media and speaking with trusted media outlets to provide context and insight. Without divulging all details, her approach reflected a blend of vulnerability and strength, signaling that she would not be silenced or misrepresented. Fans reacted enthusiastically, interpreting her actions as a reclaiming of power and autonomy in the midst of betrayal and manipulation. The public, already invested, hung on her every move, eager for clarity, vindication, and resolution. The tension reached an unprecedented peak when an anonymous source released a partial video allegedly showing a confrontation between Rashida and Kirk in a private setting. In the clip, Rashida's voice trembled with both anger and pain as she demanded honesty, while Kirk attempted to explain and justify the private dealings. Yandy was present, her expression unreadable yet intense, as though weighing each word, gesture, and reaction for her own strategic purposes. The clip quickly went viral, attracting millions of views and reigniting discussions about trust, loyalty, and the true nature of relationships within the reality television sphere. As the story continued to unfold, insiders reported additional complications. Behind-the-scenes tensions were affecting scheduling, production, and even contractual negotiations. Certain scenes had to be rewritten or delayed due to emotional volatility. And the cast's interpersonal dynamics were under intense scrutiny by producers and fans alike. The ripple effect extended beyond the immediate parties, impacting professional relationships, personal friendships, and alliances within the industry. Every interaction carried heightened significance, and even the smallest misstep had the potential to generate a viral response. The emotional stakes remained exceptionally high. Rashida's sense of betrayal, Kirk's struggle to maintain credibility, Yandy's careful maneuvering, and Michelle's position as the storyteller all combined to create a narrative with multiple layers of tension, uncertainty, and drama. The audience, aware of each development, became an active participant in dissecting, interpreting, and anticipating the next move. This period of heightened drama, coupled with the relentless social media scrutiny, ensured that the story remained at the forefront of reality television conversation, capturing attention, fueling debate, and cementing its status as one of the most sensational scandals in recent memory. The controversy continued to escalate as the media frenzy intensified. Tabloids and fan pages reported that Rashida had begun seeing a therapist to cope with the emotional toll, though she kept her visits private. Sources described her as resolute but fragile, navigating a world where trust had been shattered, and the very people she relied on for support had become the epicenter of her turmoil. Her public statements were minimal, but each post, each story, and each subtle gesture was analyzed obsessively by fans, who speculated on everything from body language to word choice. The internet became a magnifying glass, dissecting every nuance of her grief, her anger, and her growing determination to reclaim control over her life. Kirk, meanwhile, attempted to maintain a semblance of normalcy in public appearances, but insiders reported that the stress of managing the fallout was evident. He was seen in multiple interviews, carefully choosing words, attempting to frame the private deal as purely professional, and emphasizing his commitment to Rashida. Yet, his attempts were met with skepticism. Fans scrutinized the pauses, the nervous hand gestures, the avoidance of direct eye contact, interpreting each as evidence of guilt or deception. Every move Kirk made seemed only to amplify the perception of betrayal, and the court of public opinion was unforgiving. Yandy's strategy remained one of silence and calculated presence. She was photographed attending charity events and industry gatherings, always composed, always strategic, but the timing of her appearances drew immediate speculation. Insiders reported that she was carefully curating her public image to appear unbothered, while simultaneously managing private communications to mitigate backlash. The juxtaposition of her calm exterior against the storm of public criticism created a dynamic that captivated fans, fueling endless debate about her role in the so-called private deal and the consequences for Rashida. The drama reached new heights when leaked audio clips allegedly captured conversations between Kirk and Yandy, further suggesting coordination and secrecy. In the clips, Kirk reportedly expressed concern about Rashida discovering the truth, while Yandy allegedly assured him that she would handle the situation delicately. These recordings, if authentic, confirmed suspicions that the partnership went beyond business. Fans immediately flooded social media with commentary, memes, and heated debates. The narrative became a complex web of speculation, accusation, and emotional analysis, drawing attention from both longtime followers of the show and casual observers alike. As the story unfolded, the production environment of Love and Hip Hop grew increasingly strained. Crew members reported that filming schedules were frequently disrupted by off-camera confrontations and heightened emotional states. Minor disagreements between cast members escalated rapidly, and scenes that normally required multiple takes now required numerous rehearsals to accommodate the tension. Producers were forced to implement additional protocols to maintain order, from separating cast members during breaks to mediating disputes before they could affect filming. The behind-the-scenes challenges mirrored the intensity of the drama playing out for the public, reinforcing the sense that this was no ordinary conflict. Rashida's resilience began to show. Sources indicated that she started to document the events meticulously, keeping records of communications, interactions, and incidents that could provide clarity and, if necessary, evidence for future confrontations. She reportedly consulted trusted advisors, balancing emotional expression with strategic planning. Fans noted subtle shifts in her social media activity, cryptic posts hinting at empowerment, selective engagement with followers, and nuanced messaging that suggested she was preparing to assert herself without giving full away. The public interpreted these actions as a reclaiming of agency, signaling that Rashida was far from defeated. The narrative intensified when Michelle released additional hints of further proof. teasing fans with promises of revealing documents, screenshots, and videos that could redefine the story entirely. Her cryptic messages maintained the suspense and kept followers glued to updates, speculating on the scope and nature of the evidence. Viewers eagerly followed every post, awaiting confirmation of suspicions or revelation of even deeper betrayals. The interplay between the unfolding events, fan speculation, and Michelle's strategic hints created a dynamic of constant engagement, amplifying the perceived stakes and drama. Rumors spread that additional cast members were being questioned about their awareness of the private deal. Some reportedly expressed shock and frustration, claiming they had no idea such a scheme was taking place. Others were implicated indirectly, their loyalty questioned by viewers and co-stars alike. The narrative of secrecy, manipulation, and emotional fallout extended beyond the central trio, involving a wider network of relationships and interactions. This expanded scope heightened the sense of drama, suggesting that the consequences of the exposure could affect professional and personal alliances across the board. Emotional stakes remained high, with Rashida's sense of betrayal intersecting with her desire for vindication. Kirk's struggle to maintain credibility, Yandy's careful navigation of public perception, and Michelle's role as both observer and instigator. Every interaction, every communication, and every appearance became a focal point for analysis, speculation, and debate. The story transcended ordinary reality television drama, evolving into a emotionally charged narrative that captivated audiences, provoked intense discussions, and set the stage for the next inevitable confrontation. As fans continued to follow the story, anticipation mounted. Would Rashida confront Kirk and Yandy publicly? Would Michelle release additional evidence? How would the dynamics shift as the narrative progressed? Each day brought new developments, subtle or overt, and every revelation deepened the complexity of the drama. The emotional intensity, strategic maneuvering, and public scrutiny ensured that the story remained at the forefront of entertainment conversation, capturing attention, engagement, and fascination, and leaving viewers eager for the next chapter in this escalating saga. The tension between Rashida, Kirk, and Yandy reached a crescendo when a series of unexpected events unfolded simultaneously, plunging the drama into uncharted territory. Insiders revealed that a close friend of Rashida had allegedly obtained a copy of a document detailing the terms of Kirk and Yandy's private deal. The document reportedly contained language that suggested Kirk and Yandy had coordinated moves, decisions, and public statements in a manner designed to exclude Rashida entirely. The revelation ignited immediate outrage among fans, who felt the betrayal cut deeper than previously imagined. Social media exploded, with hashtags trending across platforms, demanding answers and accountability. The leaked information sparked confrontations both on and off camera. Rashida, armed with the alleged document, confronted Kirk in private, her voice trembling with a mixture of rage and hurt. "I trusted you with everything," she allegedly said, "and you went behind my back, made plans that didn't include me, and expected me to stay silent." Kirk reportedly tried to explain, but the words fell flat. His attempts to frame the situation as purely business only fueled her anger, and the room reportedly filled with a tension so thick that even minor movements felt monumental. Yandy's involvement, still largely silent to the public, added another layer of complexity. Sources say she remained composed but attentive, measuring responses, and preparing for every possible outcome while avoiding direct confrontation. Meanwhile, Michelle capitalized on the escalating chaos. She teased fans with cryptic messages hinting at even more explosive revelations, including alleged recordings, text messages, and insider commentary that could further implicate Kirk and Yandy. The anticipation among fans became palpable, creating a frenzy of speculation and analysis. Every social media post, every interview clip, and every appearance was dissected, reanalyzed, and debated. The public's fascination intensified, with viewers forming factions, debating loyalty, trust, and the potential consequences for everyone involved. The production team faced unprecedented challenges. Filming schedules were disrupted repeatedly due to emotional confrontations, unplanned walkouts, and intense arguments. Crew members reported that scenes involving Kirk Yandy and Rashida were often impossible to capture in a single take, with raw emotions spilling over in ways that blurred the line between reality and scripted drama. The pressure to maintain narrative cohesion while managing real interpersonal conflict created a volatile environment, demanding constant adaptation, mediation, and creative problem-solving from producers and staff alike. Public scrutiny intensified as alleged private communications surfaced online. Screenshots suggested that Kirk had discussed strategies with Yandy to control messaging, frame interactions, and mitigate Rashida's awareness of the deal. These revelations reinforced Michelle's initial claims and provided tangible context for what had previously been speculation. Fans reacted with a mix of shock, outrage, and empathy for Rashida, while also questioning Kirk and Yandy's intentions. The conversation became multifaceted, addressing not only the betrayal but also broader issues of trust, manipulation, and professional ethics within the entertainment industry. The emotional toll on Rashida was profound. Sources described her as oscillating between controlled composure and intense emotional release. Friends and family noted that she was exhausted but determined, carefully weighing each action to preserve both her dignity and her influence over the unfolding narrative. Her social media posts became a medium for subtle messaging, balancing vulnerability with empowerment, and offering clues to her state of mind without fully revealing her strategies. Fans were captivated, interpreting every detail, every post, and every expression as part of a larger puzzle, deepening engagement and anticipation. Kirk's public image suffered significantly. Despite efforts to maintain control, the mounting evidence and widespread speculation painted a portrait of someone caught in a web of secrecy and miscalculation. His attempts at clarification were dissected relentlessly, and every defensive gesture or word was scrutinized for hidden meaning. Insiders indicated that he privately acknowledged the difficulty of managing the situation and the extent to which public perception had shifted. Even as he tried to maintain professional appearances in public settings, Yandy's calculated approach continued to shape the narrative, while maintaining a calm exterior. She reportedly coordinated with advisors to address potential fallout, manage messaging, and maintain her influence within the industry. Her silence, strategically maintained, contrasted sharply with Rashida's visible emotional journey, creating a dynamic tension that captivated fans and fueled endless speculation. Social media users dissected every movement, every statement, and every public appearance, attempting to parse intent, authenticity, and alignment in the unfolding drama. The combination of leaked documents, private confrontations, and public speculation culminated in a particularly intense week. Multiple sources confirmed that tensions between Rashida and Kirk reached a breaking point, with arguments spilling into off-camera moments and private spaces. Production staff reported that managing interactions had become a full-time endeavor, requiring constant oversight to prevent escalation. The situation created a sense of immediacy and unpredictability, where every decision carried heightened stakes and the potential for further revelations. As the story continued to develop, anticipation reached fever pitch. Viewers speculated endlessly about whether Rashida would confront both Kirk and Yandy publicly, whether Michelle would release additional proof, and how the dynamics would evolve in the coming days. Each new development, subtle hint, or leaked piece of information reinforced the perception that this was not just a temporary scandal but a deeply rooted narrative with high emotional stakes, strategic maneuvering, and ongoing consequences for everyone involved. The drama remained unresolved, drawing fans deeper into the story, and setting the stage for even more explosive confrontations yet to come. The situation took an even more dramatic turn when reports emerged that Rashida had decided to hold a private press meeting to address the controversy directly. Sources claimed she intended to confront Kirk and Yandy, share her perspective, and set the record straight before any further leaks could shape public opinion. The announcement immediately sent shockwaves through social media, with fans expressing excitement, anticipation, and support. Hashtags surged, trending worldwide, as viewers speculated about what revelations might emerge and how the trio would respond. Kirk, reportedly caught off guard by the decision, attempted to preemptively control the narrative. Insiders revealed that he met with advisors and publicists in a flurry of activity, attempting to craft a statement that would minimize damage while appearing sincere. "I never wanted it to get this far," he allegedly said during one meeting. "I just want Rashida to understand it was all business, nothing personal." Yet, even his closest associates reportedly noted that the gravity of the situation and Rashida's determination made damage control nearly impossible. Every word, every gesture, every past action seemed to work against him. Yandy, maintaining her signature composure, focused on strategy and optics. She reportedly reviewed footage, consulted with media specialists, and prepared responses designed to appear neutral while preserving her influence. Her measured approach contrasted sharply with the emotional volatility of Rashida and the defensive posture of Kirk, creating a dynamic tension that fans found endlessly compelling. Insiders said Yandy understood that any misstep could escalate the situation further, so she remained calculated, observant, and ready to respond at a moment's notice. The private press meeting quickly became the talk of the town. Paparazzi, fans, and media outlets swarmed the location, capturing moments before the official statements were made. Rashida, appearing composed but visibly determined, stepped forward to address the assembled crowd. Her voice, steady yet charged with emotion, carried an intensity that commanded attention. "I trusted someone completely," she reportedly said, "and I was betrayed in ways I never imagined. It's time the truth comes out, and I won't let anyone manipulate the narrative anymore." The crowd reacted with a mixture of applause, gasps, and murmurs, and the footage quickly went viral, dominating headlines and social media feeds. Kirk's response during the press meeting was tentative and visibly strained. He attempted to clarify the nature of the private deal, insisting that it had been strictly professional and that Rashida had misunderstood the intentions. However, his explanation was punctuated by pauses, hesitations, and defensive language that only fueled skepticism. The audience, both in person and online, was quick to react, dissecting every word, gesture, and expression. The narrative of secrecy, betrayal, and emotional fallout gained further traction as viewers weighed the authenticity and credibility of each party's statements. Yandy's public appearance was carefully timed. She arrived after Rashida had spoken, maintaining a poised and controlled presence. Her statements were brief, emphasizing professionalism and neutrality while subtly acknowledging the situation. Insiders noted that her delivery was calculated to avoid direct confrontation while preserving her influence within the industry. The juxtaposition of her calm, measured demeanor with Rashida's emotional intensity created a compelling contrast that fans immediately noticed, sparking debates and further engagement across social platforms. The aftermath of the press meeting intensified the drama. Social media was ablaze with reactions, fan theories, and speculative commentary. Some hailed Rashida's courage, praising her for reclaiming her narrative and confronting betrayal head-on. Others debated the motivations of Kirk and Yandy, questioning whether their explanations held any credibility. Memes, edited clips, and commentary videos proliferated, extending the reach of the scandal and keeping the story at the forefront of public attention. Production insiders reported that filming became even more challenging following the press event. The emotional intensity on set heightened, with cast members and crew navigating an environment where personal and professional boundaries were increasingly blurred. Scenes that had previously required multiple takes now demanded additional coordination, mediation, and emotional management to ensure continuity and safety. The interplay between real-life drama and scripted content created a unique tension, making the show itself a reflection of the unfolding scandal. Private communications continued to surface, with alleged text messages, emails, and snippets of conversations reinforcing the perception of secrecy and exclusion. These leaks, whether authentic or fabricated, fueled speculation and engagement, creating an ecosystem where every action and word was analyzed for hidden meaning. Fans remained captivated, dissecting behavior, timing, and expressions, creating a feedback loop that magnified the intensity of the situation. As the story continued to evolve, the emotional stakes remained at an all-time high. Rashida's pursuit of transparency, Kirk's struggle for credibility, Yandy's strategic positioning, and K. Michelle's role as the instigator combined to create a narrative rich in tension, intrigue, and unpredictability. The unfolding events captivated audiences, provoked intense debate, and left viewers eagerly anticipating the next revelation, the next confrontation, and the next dramatic turn in a saga that had become one of the most compelling scandals in reality television history. The saga escalated further when an alleged insider revealed that additional communications between Kirk and Yandy had been withheld from the public, suggesting that the private deal might be far more extensive than previously imagined. Sources claimed these messages outlined long-term strategies, financial arrangements, and coordinated public appearances, all designed to maintain a particular narrative while minimizing Rashida's influence. The purported revelations immediately sent fans into a frenzy, speculating about the depth of the betrayal and the potential consequences for all parties involved. Rashida, reportedly aware of the leaks, intensified her efforts to reclaim control over her narrative. Insiders said she consulted with legal advisors, publicists, and trusted friends to ensure that her next moves would be calculated, impactful, and immune to misrepresentation. Her social media posts became even more pointed, hinting at resilience, empowerment, and the inevitability of truth coming to light. Fans interpreted each post as a clue, a subtle message, or a declaration of independence, fueling engagement and anticipation at an unprecedented level. Kirk's position grew increasingly precarious. His attempts to address the controversy in interviews were scrutinized to the finest detail, with every pause, gesture, and word analyzed for signs of dishonesty or evasion. Insiders noted that the pressure was taking a toll on him, both professionally and personally, as he struggled to maintain credibility while navigating the ongoing fallout. Fans debated his motives and intentions relentlessly, further amplifying the tension and keeping the controversy alive across multiple platforms. Yandy's approach remained methodical and controlled. She reportedly focused on behind-the-scenes management, coordinating with advisors, monitoring public perception, and preparing for potential confrontations. Her composure, contrasted with Rashida's visible emotional intensity, created a dynamic tension that captivated audiences. Social media users speculated endlessly about her intentions, alliances, and potential strategies, adding layers of intrigue to an already complex narrative. The production environment reflected the heightened drama. Scenes involving the trio became increasingly difficult to film, with emotional volatility spilling over into multiple takes and delayed schedules. Crew members reported that even minor disagreements could escalate rapidly, necessitating mediation and intervention from producers to prevent disruption. The interplay between scripted content and real-life conflict created a unique, high-stakes atmosphere, making every moment on camera charged with tension and unpredictability. The release of further alleged evidence intensified public scrutiny. Purported screenshots, edited video clips, and selective leaks suggested that Kirk and Yandy's coordination extended beyond professional considerations into deeply personal territory. Fans reacted passionately, dissecting behavior, timing, and interactions to interpret meaning and intent. The narrative of secrecy, manipulation, and betrayal captivated audiences, generating extensive debate, commentary, and speculation about the next moves of each individual involved. Michelle, ever the instigator, continued to hint at additional revelations, teasing the possibility of proof that could fundamentally reshape the story. Her cryptic messages kept followers on edge, speculating about what might emerge next. The anticipation generated by her comments created a dynamic where fans actively participated in the unfolding drama, analyzing, theorizing, and projecting outcomes in real time. Rashida's emotional journey became a focal point of the narrative. Sources described her as navigating a delicate balance between vulnerability and empowerment, using her emotional intelligence and strategic insight to influence public perception. Her social media presence, carefully curated, allowed her to express herself while maintaining control over her narrative. Fans deeply invested in her journey, responded with overwhelming support, empathy, and encouragement, further elevating her status as the central figure in the unfolding saga. Kirk and Yandy's interactions, both public and private, were scrutinized for signs of alignment, conflict, or hidden agendas. Alleged behind-the-scenes footage suggested that their coordination was meticulous and deliberate, with every action calculated to achieve a specific outcome. The perception of secrecy and manipulation intensified audience engagement, as viewers dissected body language, timing, and subtle cues to interpret motives and predict future developments. As the weeks progressed, the emotional stakes and public scrutiny continued to escalate. Each new revelation, leak, or confrontation added layers of complexity to the narrative, keeping fans enthralled and engaged. The combination of personal betrayal, strategic maneuvering, and public spectacle created a multidimensional drama that transcended typical reality television, establishing the saga as one of the most sensational, emotionally charged, and compelling stories in recent memory. Audiences remained captivated, eagerly awaiting the next explosive turn, the next confrontation, and the ultimate resolution in a story that had become a defining moment in reality TV history. The intensity of the drama reached unprecedented levels when rumors surfaced that additional parties were indirectly involved, further complicating the narrative. Friends, colleagues, and former associates of Kirk and Yandy were reportedly contacted by the media and fans alike, questioned about their knowledge or participation in the alleged private deal. Insiders claimed that some expressed shock, while others were accused of complicity, whether intentionally or inadvertently. This expanded network of perceived betrayal added depth and intrigue to the story, making it feel even more pervasive and consuming for those following closely. Rashida's strategy evolved in response to the growing complexity. Sources reported that she began hosting private strategy sessions with advisors, meticulously reviewing communications, footage, and social media interactions to ensure that her next public actions would maximize clarity, impact, and emotional resonance. She reportedly balanced vulnerability with strength, signaling to fans and the public that she was reclaiming control while maintaining composure. Her posts on social media reflected this careful navigation, often subtle but pointed, creating a sense of anticipation and encouraging followers to engage with the unfolding narrative. Kirk, meanwhile, faced mounting pressure to address not only the public perception but also the internal dynamics within his personal and professional circles. His attempts at clarification in interviews, social media statements, and behind-the-scenes discussions were dissected in real time, with fans interpreting even minor inconsistencies as proof of deeper manipulation. Insiders noted that the scrutiny was relentless, and Kirk's efforts to maintain credibility and mitigate backlash were complicated by the persistent and growing presence of evidence, both verified and speculative, circulating online. Yandy continued to maintain a calculated and controlled approach. Her public appearances were meticulously timed and carefully executed, projecting neutrality, professionalism, and composure. Insiders reported that she spent hours analyzing the potential impact of each action, anticipating the public's reaction, and ensuring that her image remained intact. The contrast between her measured approach and Rashida's emotionally charged strategy created a compelling dynamic for fans, who speculated endlessly about alliances, motives, and potential next moves. The interplay between real-life events and the ongoing reality television narrative created a high-stakes environment for the production team. Scenes involving the trio became increasingly challenging to film, requiring mediation, additional takes, and careful management of emotional volatility. Minor disagreements frequently escalated, prompting producers to intervene and maintain order. The merging of personal drama with on-screen performance blurred boundaries, intensifying tension and creating an environment where every interaction carried amplified significance. Leaked communications and alleged behind-the-scenes footage continued to circulate, further fueling the story. Screenshots, video clips, and selective disclosures suggested that Kirk and Yandy's coordination extended beyond professional considerations into deeply strategic planning, influencing public perception and personal relationships. Fans scrutinized every detail, interpreting body language, timing, and subtleties for hidden meaning, which contributed to an ongoing feedback loop of speculation, debate, and engagement. Michelle remained a central figure in escalating the narrative. Her cryptic teasers, hints of additional evidence, and public commentary kept audiences captivated and on edge. Fans eagerly dissected her messages for clues, anticipating that she might release proof that could dramatically alter the perception of events. The interplay between her commentary, the unfolding drama, and fan speculation created a sense of immediacy, urgency, and suspense that intensified the story's impact and reach. Rashida's emotional journey was consistently highlighted as a defining element of the saga. Sources indicated that she was managing her vulnerability, resilience, and strategic expression carefully, using both public and private channels to assert control over the narrative. Her social media presence served as a conduit for nuanced messaging, blending personal insight with hints at broader truths yet to be revealed. Fans responded with overwhelming support, empathy, and engagement, solidifying her centrality in the ongoing drama. Kirk and Yandy's ongoing interactions were analyzed, with extraordinary attention to detail. Alleged private conversations, coordinated appearances, and public statements suggested a deliberate, calculated approach to managing both perception and reality. The tension between their measured strategies and Rashida's emotional intensity created a dynamic that captivated audiences and sustained engagement, as viewers speculated endlessly about motives, alliances, and potential revelations. As the weeks unfolded, the emotional stakes, public scrutiny, and narrative complexity continued to escalate. Each new leak, revelation, or confrontation added layers to the story, maintaining a level of engagement and suspense that few reality television scandals had ever achieved. Fans remained captivated, analyzing, theorizing, and anticipating the next development, while the central figures navigated a labyrinth of personal betrayal, strategic maneuvering, and public spectacle that had solidified the saga as one of the most sensational, emotionally charged, and compelling stories in recent entertainment history. The drama intensified further when a series of live-streamed interactions added fuel to the ongoing fire. Rashida, taking advantage of the immediacy of social media, hosted an unplanned live session, addressing fans directly with raw emotion and unfiltered commentary. "I've been patient," she reportedly said, her voice steady yet charged. But patience only lasts so long when you're being deceived by the people you trusted most. Viewers watched closely as she recounted fragments of the alleged private deal, hinting at betrayal, secrecy, and manipulation without revealing every detail. The livestream quickly went viral, attracting millions of viewers and sparking widespread discussion across platforms. Kirk's response to the live session was equally immediate. Insiders reported that he convened emergency meetings with his team to craft a statement that could mitigate the fallout. "This isn't the full story," he allegedly insisted during one briefing. "People don't understand the context, and we need to clarify before things get worse." Despite these efforts, every public appearance, every statement, and every gesture was scrutinized by fans, critics, and the media alike. The intensity of the situation made even minor missteps seem catastrophic, and Kirk's position grew increasingly precarious with each passing day. Yandy's strategy remained one of measured control. She reportedly monitored the live session closely, analyzing both Rashida's expressions and audience reactions. Her advisors encouraged restraint, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a composed public image while preparing for any necessary response. Her calm, calculated presence contrasted sharply with Rashida's emotional display, creating a dynamic tension that fans found compelling and endlessly Speculation about her role in the private deal, her motivations, and potential future moves skyrocketed across social media. The ripple effects of these interactions reached the production team, who were already grappling with heightened tensions on set. Sources indicated that scheduling conflicts, emotional volatility, and unexpected confrontations forced producers to implement stricter protocols to manage interactions between the trio. Every scene became high-stakes, with crew members balancing the need for continuity against the unpredictability of real emotional responses. The merging of unscripted personal drama with scripted television created a uniquely volatile environment, blurring lines and amplifying tension. Additional alleged evidence surfaced online, including screenshots and snippets of video conversations, purportedly showing Kirk and Yandy coordinating messages, appearances, and narratives to exclude Rashida. Fans eagerly dissected the content, analyzing body language, timing, and tone for hidden meaning. The revelations reignited debates about trust, loyalty, and ethics within the reality television world, with viewers speculating on potential outcomes and repercussions. The combination of emotional intensity, strategic maneuvering, and public scrutiny made the story a constantly evolving spectacle. Michelle continued to play a pivotal role in escalating the narrative. Insiders reported that she teased upcoming revelations, hinting at material that could drastically alter public perception of the events. Her strategic positioning as both narrator and instigator maintained suspense, ensuring that fans remained engaged and eager for each new update. The interplay between her hints, leaked evidence, and the ongoing live interactions created a feedback loop of anticipation and speculation, further amplifying the emotional stakes for the central figures and the audience alike. Rashida's approach evolved into a careful blend of transparency and strategic communication. Sources indicated that she documented events meticulously, consulting with legal and media advisors to ensure her narrative was coherent, compelling, and credible. Her social media activity reflected this dual strategy, combining subtle hints with expressions of personal strength and resilience. Fans responded enthusiastically, interpreting each post as a signal of empowerment, control, and impending revelation. The audience's engagement became an integral part of the unfolding drama, shaping perception and fueling anticipation. Kirk and Yandy's interactions remained under intense scrutiny. Alleged private conversations and coordinated actions suggested deliberate planning, with each step calculated to influence public perception and minimize personal fallout. The juxtaposition of Yandy's measured approach against Rashida's emotionally charged strategy created a compelling tension that dominated fan discussions, media coverage, and online commentary. Every move, statement, and appearance was analyzed in minute detail, with audiences attempting to decipher intent, alignment, and potential next developments. The stakes grew higher as rumors emerged of potential confrontations in upcoming public appearances and filming sessions. Insiders noted that tensions between Rashida and Kirk were nearing a breaking point, with emotions simmering just beneath the surface. Production staff reported that mediating interactions required heightened vigilance, and even minor disagreements had the potential to escalate dramatically. The narrative of secrecy, betrayal, and emotional intensity created an environment where every moment, both on and off camera, carried heightened significance and potential for further drama. As the story unfolded, the combination of emotional volatility, strategic maneuvering, public scrutiny, and fan engagement created a sustained sense of anticipation and suspense. Each new leak, revelation, or confrontation added layers to the narrative, keeping audiences captivated and invested. Rashida's pursuit of truth and empowerment, Kirk's attempts at damage control, Yandy's calculated management, and K. Michelle's strategic instigation collectively ensured that the saga remained one of the most sensational, emotionally charged, and compelling narratives in reality television history. Fans remained glued to every development, eagerly awaiting the next explosive chapter. The situation escalated to unprecedented levels when multiple sources alleged that the private deal between Kirk and Yandy had far-reaching implications beyond what anyone had imagined. Insiders claimed the agreement involved not only financial arrangements but also coordinated public narratives, strategic appearances, and undisclosed communications designed to control perception and influence key outcomes. The complexity of the alleged deal added layers of intrigue, leaving fans speculating about the motivations, intentions, and potential consequences for everyone involved. Rashida's response to the new revelations was both emotional and strategic. Sources indicated that she meticulously reviewed every piece of information available, consulting legal advisors and publicists to plan her next moves. Her approach combined vulnerability with assertiveness, allowing her to express personal hurt while also demonstrating strength and control. Social media became a tool for subtle messaging, with posts hinting at empowerment, resilience, and the inevitability of truth emerging. Fans closely analyzed every detail, interpreting her communications as clues to upcoming revelations or confrontations. Kirk faced mounting challenges in managing the escalating narrative. Insiders reported that he attempted to issue clarifications and public statements, framing the private deal as purely professional and